to my YouTube channel. My name is James McCool. I'm the owner of PayDirtDFS.com. Today I'm going to be talking to you about True Average, specifically MLB True Average. It is a new model that I created and a new metric that I created for MLB, DFS, and betting. So True Average is a predictive stat, not a descriptive stat. So what does that mean? Descriptive stat basically means that it describes what has happened or what a player has been able to do, whereas a predictive stat is aiming to figure out what they are going to do. And that's a very important distinction to make. So an example of a descriptive stat is something like ERA, right? So that tells us how many runs a pitcher has allowed on average in their starts. However, a predictive stat, or something that aims to be predictive, is something like xFIP. So that is going to tell us what we expect them to do in the future. There's a place for both of these things, right? So descriptive stats are still important as baselines to utilize for predictive stats. And predictive stats are very important for us in terms of finding out what is more accurately going to happen in the future and more precisely going to happen in the future. This is not the first time that I have created or utilized either of these things. I've created predictive stats in the past. X home run per nine, if you know me from the number ball days, is something I developed and it was very successful and is still utilized in the models today over at PayDirtDFS. So this one is also going to be a predictive stat. When I created X home run per nine, it was utilizing the descriptive stat of home run per nine. So this one has kind of a similar, I guess, birth or like creation origin story. Whereas I was using a descriptive stat, which is batting average allowed by pitchers, and I'm trying to make it more predictive, telling us what we expect them to allow in the future. So a couple things on this really quick. One, a lot of people look at something like batting average allowed and they say, oh, well, that stat is boring. It's very terrestrial. It's very shallow. It's not something that is predictive or flashy or sexy or anything like that. And it's like, yeah, okay, I can understand that. I get that. But it's still important, right? So even though you're not going to be utilizing batting average allowed as something that can describe everything about a pitcher and be a catch-all stat or something that you look at as a one-stop shop for how you assess a pitcher, it's still really important. When you're looking at what is going to happen in a plate appearance, when you're trying to describe the different branches of a decision tree in what happens at a plate appearance and what happens in an MLB game, it kind of all starts with, did the player put the ball in play, right? So did the hitter end up making contact with the ball, and then what happened after that? So batting average kind of is the beginning to everything that can be added together for the predictive stats later. Without batting average, there is no expected stats. Without batting average, there is no understanding of what can happen afterwards and what and the quality of the contact or the quality of the pitch or any of that kind of stuff, right? So much of it is on what happens during that interaction of, did they get a hit or did they not get a hit? And then after that, everything else branches off. So as much as you shouldn't use batting average allowed for pitchers to say everything about what a pitcher is going to be able to do, I still think that it's a very important thing when understanding and trying to model forward from a batting or from a plate appearance into what is going to happen next. So with that said, I wanted to take batting average and I wanted to apply the different luck stats against it, and I wanted to try to build something that is predictive. So basically, without going too much into the sauce, I took a lot of different stuff and I tried to make it so batting average would be regressive against some league averages, so that we could try to get rid of a little bit of the noise and a little bit of the fluff that's added in by things that are outside of the pitcher's control. So that's basically what MLB True Average is. So where can you find True Average? So if you know me, you know that my site is PayDirtDFS.com. You can see it here. You can also see the little logo over there. site that I've had for a while, and I've been doing a lot of work to try to put out more content that is accessible to everyone. So if you go over to the site and you get to the main page, you're going to be able to go to content, you're going to be able to go to articles and community posts, and then you're going to be able to go and find the True Average report, right? So this is something that I've been posting every single day. It tells you a little bit about True Average. It shows the model results for True Average for the day, gives a recap from yesterday's post, and then also gives notable results, which is the largest and smallest True Averages for the day, so aka the worst and the best pitcher for the day, and then also the largest positive deviations and largest negative deviations, which are the luckiest and unluckiest pitchers for the day based on their recent sample. Now, when I talk about all of that, there's a couple things that are important to know. So if you're looking at the model results, and we will zoom in here a little bit, you're going to see different columns. You're going to see the name of the pitcher, you're going to see the opponent, you're going to see the average, you're going to see True Average, and you're going to see diff. So the name of the pitcher is obviously the name of the pitcher. It's the pitcher that we're dealing with. The opponent is just for reference so that we can have an understanding of how easy or tough the matchup is. The average is their batting average allowed in the recent sample. So Sandy Alcantara's batting average allowed in the recent sample is only 156, whereas Kyle Bradish's is 333. The true average is what we expect their batting average to be, their batting average allowed to be moving forward, at least in the short term. So this is what we would have expected their batting average to have been in the recent sample if it was regressed. And utilizing this new stat and this new formula that I have, this is what we would have expected them to do if all else was equal. So using those two examples, Sandy Alcantara would be 237 in his batting average allowed based on true average, and Kyle Bradish would be 247, so not that much different from each other. The diff is just the measure between their true average, what I think, or what the model thinks it should have been, and their average allowed, which is their actual. So you can look at these things a couple different ways. The important things here are the true average column and the diff column. True average is basically a measure of how good we would have expected pitchers to be in the recent sample. Christian Javier being the best, Mike Minor being the worst. Basically, if you don't care about anything else, green is good, red is bad. The diff is a little bit more nuanced. So this is saying how lucky or unlucky a pitcher has been. And so we can look at this as if a pitcher has been unlucky, meaning that their average allowed is higher than their true average, we would expect a correction to come, and we would expect them to be better and move towards this true average. Whereas if it's a negative number, we would expect them to move, again, towards their true average, but get worse. So when I talk about large positive deviations, we're talking about pitchers that should be better. When I'm talking about large negative deviations, we're talking about pitchers that should be worse. So that is kind of a breakdown of how you're going to be utilizing the models. Also, you can find them if you go up here and you go to sports, you go to MLB and you go to the MLB Binomial projections model. You're going to find a very basic model here that is using binomial distributions to project for players. And you're going to be able to look and see what the hitter's projections are going to be. It doesn't have any pitcher projections, but this is a free model. So it's just something you can use for showdown for the most part. Or if you just want to see how players are going to react to the pitchers that they're facing. But here you can also find the true average model. So you're going to be able to go to this, you're going to be able to look, and you're going to be able to see the model for the day, and you're going to be able to see what the percentile change is from their average allowed to their true average. So as a very basic rule of thumb, avoid guys who have a large negative differential and utilize guys who have a strong positive differential. Very, very easy. This isn't a model that has like a whole lot of special bells and whistles. It's very straightforward and it's very easy to use. I also, like I said, do not think that this is something that is going to change the world. I just think that it is a better way to simulate outgame environments, and so I wanted to build something that could be utilized in a very easy and effective way. One last thing that I did want to show today with this little video is going to be a season-long view of true average. So if we look at that, Here we are. This is going to be on the site here pretty soon. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put it, but basically it's a measure of the entire season and who has been the best pitcher by true average and who has been the worst pitcher by true average. So if we're looking at this, there's a couple different use cases. One, you can see who is stronger or weaker than their odds implied for Cy Young awards. That's one thing. That's one way that I'm going to utilize it. And then you can also use it in season long for making assessments about your pitching staff. So say that somebody were to offer you Sandy Alcantara, and or say that you had Sandy Alcantara and you tried to trade for Carlos Rodon. That would be a good trade based on true average. You can also sort this by negative, see who the worst pitchers are. Worst pitchers in the league: Tristan McKenzie, Marco Gonzalez, Madison Bumgarner, Bruce Zimmerman, and Brad Keller based on true average. And all of those mostly check out. There's also some interesting names here: Justin Verlander, Nathan Eovaldi. So it's kind of interesting to go through. I'm going to have this up on the site later, but I did want to show it off in this little video since we are talking about it. But that is a breakdown of what the true average is. Basically, you're just utilizing it as a predictive stat, just like you would anything else. You're saying, this pitcher has been lucky, this pitcher has been unlucky. I want to take advantage of that luck one way or another. So utilizing it for leverage in DFS and betting markets. This has been a nice little breakdown of what this is. Hopefully it answered any questions that you had about it. Again, my name is James McCool. You can find all of my stuff over at paydirdfs.com. I haven't been uploading very many YouTube videos, but expect to see a lot more. I'm really trying to focus on that part of my game. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you don't already follow me on Twitter, follow me on paydirt_DFS over on Twitter. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and go check out paydirdfs.com. We do have a subscription promo code going on right now. If you use the promo code BAKE, BAKE, on a monthly subscription, you'll get $10 off your first month. So thanks for tuning in. I hope to talk to you guys again soon, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.